fellow lions. Today I'm going to be reading a story to you and we're going to learn about a new genre called fable. A fable has certain characteristics listed here on this chart. A fable is generally a short story. It usually has animals as the main characters, and it also teaches you a moral. That's just a fancy way of saying it's teaching you a lesson. And it also uses personification. You probably see the word person in here, and so that is just a technique that authors use of helping objects or animals be like people, so they might speak or have feelings and do things that typically an object wouldn't do, but a person would. And so I'm going to read this story to you. It's called How Giraffe Got Such a Long Neck and Why Rhino is So Grumpy. And as I'm reading, I want you to be thinking about whether or not this story has characteristics of a fable. By the time we're done, we should be able to say yes or no that this is an example of a fable. And this story, it is a tale from East Africa. I'm going to make sure I get a map or a globe so I can show you where that is next time I read to you. So, how Giraffe got such a long neck and why Rhino is so grumpy. In the beginning of the beginning, Giraffe wasn't as tall as the trees. She was more like a deer, lean and quick, and no taller than a bush. You can see the giraffe right here. Doesn't look like she looks right now, does she? And so it was for a long, long time until the year it didn't rain. Day after day, the sun burned bright. The grass shriveled up and turned brown. Without the rain, nothing grew. All that was left for the animals to eat were the dead tufts of grass, dry, tasteless, and dusty. Oh, that does not sound appealing. Every day, the animals raced each other to find a blade of green grass or a water hole that hadn't gone dry. Soon, they were falling over and dying. Only the strongest could stay alive, and even they were becoming weak and tired. The earth had turned to dust, and it swirled around them in the hot wind. Sounds like a very trying time. One day, Giraffe met Rhino. "What are we to do, Rhino?" she asked. "Oomph," snorted Rhino. "Nothing to eat or drink," said Giraffe. "Oomph," snorted Rhino. "Nothing green, nothing juicy," said Giraffe, "except the leaves on those trees, but they're too high for us to reach." "Oomph," snorted Rhino. Starting to notice, it seems like some main characters are beginning to emerge, and they happen to be animals. And you know what? They are acting like people, so this might be an example of personification. Typically, rhinos and giraffes don't speak. Giraffe and Rhino, they walked on together. "Juicy green leaves," thought Rhino. "Too high for us to reach," thought Giraffe. "Man," said Rhino. "Man? Where? I don't see man," said Giraffe. "Help," said Rhino. "Help? Why? What's the matter?" asked Giraffe. "Man, help," said Rhino. "Oh, I get it," said Giraffe. "I get it now. Man will help us. Let's find man. He'll help us." "Oomph," said Rhino. I think Rhino needs to expand upon his vocabulary a little bit. So, Giraffe and Rhino went to find man. They walked and walked for a day. They walked and walked for a night. Finally, just before dawn, they saw the man's hut in the distance. I bet they were really relieved. was blazing again when they reached the hut. "Man, we're starving. We're dying," said Giraffe. "There's nothing for us to eat. Nothing but dust." "I know," said Man. "Nothing except the juicy green leaves on the trees," said Giraffe. "But they're too high for us to reach." "I know," said Man. "Can you help us?" asked Giraffe. "Come back tomorrow," said Man. "I need time to prepare the magic herb." "Will it help us reach the leaves in the trees?" asked Giraffe. "Tomorrow," said Man. "Tomorrow," said Giraffe. "Oomph," snorted Rhino. The next day at dawn, Giraffe was back at Man's hut. "Where's your friend?" asked Man. "I don't know," said Giraffe, "but I'm here. Do you have the magic herb that will help us reach the leaves on the trees?" "Yes," said Man. "Here is enough for you and your friend." Man put down the magic herb and went back into his hut. "Where is that stupid Rhino?" thought Giraffe. "Oh, lions. My fellow lions, I think you could maybe teach Giraffe to use some kinder words." I'm afraid Rhino's going to miss out. But Rhino had forgotten all about Giraffe and Man and the magic herb. He was miles away at a dried up water hole where a few tufts of green grass still grew. "Oomph," snorted Rhino as he nibbled and chomped. Oh no. Giraffe waited as long as he could, or as long as she could. Then she gobbled up the magic herb, all of it. At once she felt strange tinglings in her legs, a sharp twitching in her neck, and then dizzy, dizzy, dizzy. Her head was way up high, and her feet were way down below. At the very same moment, Rhino suddenly remembered. "Man, help. I'm afraid it's going to be too little too late." Giraffe looked at herself. Her legs were long. Her neck was even longer. And her head now reached the juicy green leaves high in the treetops. Oh, how she nibbled. Oh, how she chomped. Meanwhile, Rhino was running as fast as his legs could carry him. Rhino arrived in a cloud of dust. "Magic," he gasped. "I know," said Man. "All gone now." Then Rhino looked up, and saw Giraffe, chomping on the juicy green leaves high in the treetops. "Oomph, oomph, oomph," roared Rhino. He pointed his great sharp horns at Man and charged. "Not my fault," said Man, who ran off as fast as his legs could carry him. And so it is today that on the great African plains, you can see Giraffe, the tall one, and Rhino, the grumpy one. Rhino is still cross with Man for giving away the magic herb, and still cross with Giraffe for eating all of it, and especially cross with himself for not remembering to be on time for the magic. Did you hear that word cross that the author used? That's just a fancy way of saying angry or mad. Maybe you could try using that word in your own writing. Oomph. So let's go back to our chart to figure out whether or not this is an example of a fable. It was a short story, so we can put a check there. Animals were the main characters, Rhino and Giraffe. The man at the hut, he was a minor character, but the main characters, they definitely were animals. Did this teach us a moral? Remember, a moral is just a fancy way of saying, did you learn a lesson? And Rhino definitely learned a lesson. Rhino was not very responsible. You know, when you have something important that you need to do, you need to show up for it. Just like your work at school, that's something important you have to do. And so you need to complete that. That's just being a good, responsible citizen, a good, responsible student. And so Rhino, he definitely learned a lesson. There's consequences when you aren't taking responsibility. And personification. There were definitely examples of personification in here. The animals in the story, they were speaking, they were acting as if they were human in a way. So I would say, yeah, this story definitely meets the criteria of a fable, and it really teaches a great lesson about being responsible. Thanks for tuning in. I can't wait to read another story to you guys. Take care.